Let's bring ourselves to a preliminary position of Sukhanasana, happy posture, otherwise known as cross-legged position. Take a round of breath to connect with the self. Rise up through the torso, sit tall. Have the chin parallel with the mat. Relax and soften in your hips. Feel the connection of both sitting bones with the earth beneath you. Rest the skin on your face. Allow it to smooth back toward the hairline as you let go and release. Surrender across the jawline. Unclench your teeth. Relax in the neck and the throat. Drop your shoulders down, away from the ears. The upper arms, let them drop down too. Close the eyes. Find that inward connection, that inner view, so that you may observe yourself. Let the breath rhythmically flow. Tuning in. And then we'll open the eyes. We're going to begin by some stretching and twisting through the spine, and we're going to do some lateral flexing of the vertebral column too, so that we get to use the sides of our body, the obliques, as well as deep abdominal muscles. Now, if you feel that you might like to have a cushion underneath your sit bones or at the base of your spine, just to give maybe some added comfort and also to help you lift up through the trunk of the body, then do that now. Let's bring our right hand outside of our left knee and take the left hand behind the left hip. You can even put it right behind the base of the spine to use as a rod to help rise up through the trunk of the body. We're looking at creating space down near the pubis, in the pelvic region, everything rising up. And then we're going to begin twisting the spine to the left, rotating those lower vertebrae first and foremost. And we move slowly so that we may consciously control, so that the mind has the time to watch the body in its movement and to guide it, to communicate, show it the way. So take the flesh on the torso. You can think about the skin around the bottom right hand side. You can lift it up and then you can bring it round towards the navel as you rotate through the thoracic spine, the 12 bones, the 12 vertebrae. Your head and neck will rotate last of all. Ensure that the shoulders are still relaxed and away from the ears, that the neck and throat are still released, soft, and your flow of breath is quite lucid. And then you'll come back to the central position and flow to the other side, so the left hand will come outside of the right knee. The right hand placed at the base of the spine, straightening up through the arm to rise up through the trunk, ensuring that the head and shoulders are resting above the hips, that you are not leaning backwards onto that right hand. The right hand is there as a prop. So you start rotating the spinal cord to the right. The lowest part of the spine, the coccyx, the sacrum, they're flat and fused together. And then the lumbar, you can begin to turn that. And this time you're thinking of the skin down the left-hand side of the body, maybe the lower left back around the kidney, and you've told it to lift up and then communicated it to revolve with the turning spine. So it's actually assisting. The flesh on the left side of your body is moving round to the belly button and continuing its journey, so that when you get to the head and neck, you have this potentially full movement, this full twist of the spine. And then keeping that space you've created as you return to your neutral position. Let's take a forward flexion of the spine now. So this movement originates in the hips. Immediately, as soon as you're breathing in now, you're thinking of lifting the hips and creating space in that area. You go right down deep into the pubis and rise it up. You scoop the tummy up. The skin on the body is all rising upwards, and the back of the body too. Just because you can't see the flesh there doesn't mean that you cannot communicate with it. Lifting it up and then using the hands just gently on the knees as you come forwards. Soften the shoulders, so you want to avoid drawing the shoulders up here. Sometimes through concentration and through the movement itself, the body will try and find easy ways out. So it might pull up the top here thinking that's the way forward. It's looking more forward than it was, but you really need to relax those shoulders down and move upwards from deep down here. Get to a point that's comfortable for you. If you can get the elbows, forearms and hands down on the floor, great. If it's here in the lap, that's just as good for now, as long as you continually observing the breath and creating that space with every inhalation. Also think about relaxing in the groins, the front groins at this uppermost crease within the legs here, and the back groins at the uppermost crease of the legs just under the buttocks. Every time you breathe out, you can relax and surrender them. And then supporting the spine by pulling the stomach in as you come back to centre. So let's now incorporate both forward bend and twist of the spine. So we'll bring our left arm in front of us, and we have the forearm on a nice horizontal line, elbow and hand in alignment. Just rest your right hand on your right inner knee, breathe in, create that space deep down here, and then exhale, hinge forward. You're looking to place elbow, wrist and hand to the mat together. If not the mat, then in the lap. And then think about the lower back, the muscles there, the flesh there. Communicate as you breathe in to create space, to lift it up, and then begin to turn the trunk of the body to the right. Use the skin, and then release that right arm and rise it up towards the ceiling. Rotate it in its socket and just see if you can bring it over the ear. You could even bring the elbow to rest above your right shoulder, so your right elbow rests above your right shoulder, and you can turn to look up towards the flesh of the palm of the right hand. Unclench the teeth, and then release to neutral. Other side. Breathe in, bring the right arm in front of you, nice and level. Create space, lift. Exhale, extend forward. So you really are reaching with the flesh from the lower body to the upper body, helping shift you further forward into your forward flexion of the spine. You've got the left hand resting gently on the left inner knee. Take a breath in and draw upward from the base of your spine to the crown of your head, and then rotate, turning to the left. Raising the left arm up and over. Stack the left elbow above the left shoulder. Turn to look underneath the palm of the left hand. And then breathe in and come back to center. Experience the breath flowing through you. And let's now do a small backward flexion of the spine, a seated backward flexion. You want to keep your head and shoulders above your hips. Just take your hands either side of your hips to the mat. Take a nice deep breath in. Draw up through the torso, lift the flesh. See if you can lock out those elbows, straighten the arms behind you. Draw the shoulder blades towards each other, taking the shoulders back, and then dome the chest upwards. Lift the heart space and raise the chin and the eyes to the ceiling. Really tune in with the breath here. Synchronize it with the activity of the belly button. And then retain that lift and simply allow the shoulders to rest back into a nice comfortable position, but you've kept all this lift that you've created in the torso. And bring yourself to your central seated position. Let's now bring our left hand outside of our left hip to the mat. Breathe in, stretch the right arm up, and you're going to lift the skin from the right hip all the way up to the right fingertips, and then extend that right arm over the head. Keep both buttocks connected with the mat as we walk our left hand outward. So as our left hand reaches out to the left, our right hip presses down. You can feel this energy flow down into that hip and buttock so that your center is grounded. See if you can get to the point where you take a breath in, and then as you exhale, flex the elbow down. Now it's at this point that that right buttock will really want to come off the mat. But keep it grounded, keep it connected. And then breathe in and draw yourself central. And then bring the right hand outside of the right hip. Walk the right fingers out a little way. Ensure that the energy in the left hip and buttock is pressing down. As you breathe in and rise up through the left hand side. So even though you have energy pressing your left buttock down. From the left hip, you feel this extension upwards towards the fingers as they come over and across the left ear. Just take those right fingertips out a little further. Breathe. And then, if you're able to flex the right elbow down, really pressing down into that left hip. Keep the breath flowing. Quietening the mind. Familiarising yourself with the stretch that is taking place. And then returning to centre. Close the eyes, rise up through the trunk of your body. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Breathe. And then opening the eyes, we're going to breathe in, lift the hands and bring them round to connect behind the neck, linking the fingers together so you're almost cradling the neck. Now you can allow the elbows to come forward slightly, but be aware that you avoid going this far. You don't want to be doing this. You really want to keep the elbows out in line with the ears, but they can round forward slightly so that you have this very gentle semicircle between the elbows. We're going to lift up through the torso as we breathe in. As we exhale, bring the left elbow down to the left knee. Breathe into the centre, right elbow down to right knee. Breathe into the centre, left elbow down to left knee, and keep going. Every time you breathe in, you'll be coming through the centered position, and it's to an exhalation that you will bring elbow to knee. And whilst you practice, do all those checks around the body that the neck and throat are relaxed, you've unclenched your teeth, and then see if you can get the movement to really flow. Engaging your core, abdominal muscles, working the obliques, using the skin on the back of your body to assist with the movement. So it helps break down any fatty parts that collect and gather around the lower back. Developing those lower back muscles. Keep it going. Flowing with the breath. And you can actually practice this movement up to 10 minutes or more. Really gives you a lovely strong lower spine, strong waistline. Cultivates the stomach. Good for digestion. Keep it going. Keep the breath flowing. Skin on the face, nice and soft. And then breathe in and come back to a central position. So that was a very short amount of time practicing that, but if you, in your own time, do it for up to 10-15 minutes, you really feel this new strength developing. It's great. And then gently release the hands and come back to a central position. So now let's extend our left leg out to the side and draw the heel of your right foot right close into the pubis. Take a nice deep inhalation, and as you exhale you're going to stretch the left hand down the inner left leg towards the foot. Now you want to have it so that your palm begins to face up towards the ceiling, so that as you do reach the foot, the thumb will rest across the front of the foot while the fingers will curl round and grab the base of the foot. If it doesn't happen immediately, do not judge yourself. You can easily just turn the hand here, have the palm facing up, have the elbow drawing in towards the inner thigh. Again, by now we're recognising that it takes patience and dedication, a disciplined practice. So just take a moment to adjust and adapt. You might like to breathe in and really open out across the front of your chest, opening the heart space, taking that right shoulder back, drawing the right shoulder blade down towards the left shoulder blade behind you, so that you can really feel this opening now across the right hand side of the body. A nice deep inhalation as you raise the right arm up, rotate it in its socket and bring the right hand over and across the ear, and it's lowering down towards the left foot. Again, no judgment. If you're here, working here, great. Just keep thinking about breathing in and lifting all this lower portion of the body. The more space you can make here, the more space will naturally accrue throughout everything thereafter. So you'll find that your flexibility and suppleness really increase. It all comes from the core. Make the space and the strength there, and it will just emanate outwards. So once you get into the fullness of the position, think about getting that right elbow over the right ear. You can turn the trunk of the body within the posture, really revolving the left hand side of the body round towards the belly button, and then continuing that rotation, so that you may turn the head and neck on the cervical spine to look up towards the ceiling. Keep that right hip and buttock connected with the mat. Again, there will be every chance that it's going to want to rise up, but you want to keep that grounded. And then breathe in and bring yourself up to a central position. Now, whilst the left leg is extended straight, let's bring left and right hand either side of that leg, and we're now going to rotate the trunk of the body so that it centres itself over that left leg. We're going to think about lifting internally, scooping up pubis to navel, navel to breastbone, lift the flesh on the sides of the body. We want to look at really drawing our right shoulder, right side of the torso forwards, take our left shoulder, left side of the torso back, so that we then can come forward centrally. If you can't reach the toes, remember belt or strap, put a belt round the ball of the foot, and then you can hold on either side and you'll be able to work your way along to finally make that connection. And whilst in this position, check the shoulders. Have you got your right shoulder right up, pulling by the ear where you're really forcing and overstretching? Can you drop the right shoulder down and then raise the left so that they become aligned? Use both sides of the body to correct your alignment. And then observe, experience, feel it. And then we'll bring the hands back in, we'll support the spine, returning to its upright position by pulling the stomach in. And then we'll change sides. So we're going to extend the right leg out and draw the heel of the left foot really close in towards the pubis. If you find that this knee is flapping about in midair, again, the cushion, the folded blanket can help. Really think about relaxing down in the left hip. You might like to even open the flesh out of the inner thigh and the calf muscle. The calf muscle, very fleshy part of the body, and it could be restricting the comfort of the hip if it's tucked right under in the fold. So by releasing it and opening it out can help. Let's take the right hand and rest it along the inner right leg. Let's rise up through the trunk of the body, and then as we exhale, stretch that right hand along the leg. We've raised the palm of the hand, so by the time the hand does reach the foot, the thumb can rest on the front of the foot and the fingers can collect round on the ball of the foot or at the instep. We're already having that rotation of the trunk of the body. Let's take our left shoulder back and get that left shoulder blade drawing down towards the right shoulder blade. Adjust, adapt. You can even grab the skin on the right side of your body and really draw it round so that the flesh on the right side of the body is coming round towards the belly button. And then from the belly button, opening it out. We'll breathe in, raise the left arm, stretch, reach, and bring it over. Turn the head and neck on the cervical spine to look up towards the ceiling or towards the flesh on the upper left arm. Ensure that your left hip and buttock remain grounded to the mat. Soften the skin on your face. Unclench your teeth. Really relax along the jawline. Observe the breath. Indeed, maximize the breath that you take in so that the lungs inflate fully. Fresh injection of oxygen. Really enriching all parts of the body. And then we'll return to a central position by pulling the stomach muscles in, supporting the spine as we rise up. Then we'll bring either hand to each side of that extended right leg. And now we want to draw the left side of the body forward and take the right side of the body back to bring alignment so that the trunk of our body is centered over that right leg. Have your belt or strap to hand if you want and loop it over the ball of the foot. If you can walk the hands forward to connect with the toes, then do so. Recognizing the alignment of your shoulders and the trunk of your body. So have you got your left shoulder raised too high and your right shoulder dropped down and you're still going down in almost that lateral, that sideways stretch? Or have you aligned and rectified and both shoulders are level? Both sit bones are still connected with the mat. So the foundation of the posture here is really grounded. and breathe. And as you observe yourself whilst in the position, your breath will guide you. And you'll feel as you breathe in, there'll be this lift deep down. It will happen quite naturally, and then you'll feel this extension of stretch develop. And then we'll walk the hands back in towards the hips, restacking the bones of the spine, rising up. And then we'll lift that left knee up towards us. We'll give it a hug. We'll stretch the right leg away. We'll place our right hand outside of our right hip. We'll reach forward with that left hand, almost as if we want to touch those toes, and indeed if we can, fine. You're going to bend that left arm back upon itself then and bring it round so that the left fingers come towards the left hip. Breathe in, stretch up through the trunk of the body, release the right hand and swim it round and see if it can catch the left fingers. Remember, you can use a belt or strap here as well. Put them between the two hands. You're going to lift up through your torso, create space. You can keep that left knee as close in towards the trunk of the body as you can. Be careful that it doesn't splay out to the side. Rise up and then turn to look over the right shoulder. And then gently release. And then the other side, let's draw that right knee in towards us. Give it a little hug first and foremost. Bring your left hand just outside of your left hip. Rise up, stretch up, lift up, and then extend that right arm forward. If it can touch the toes, great, but it doesn't have to. Your hand can rest onto your shin. It's all about finding your foundation. And then rotating that right arm and bending it back upon itself around the outside edge of the right thigh. Rise up into the position and then release that left arm and swim it all the way round to see if it can connect with the right fingers, or indeed your belt or strap. Breathe in, elevate, sit tall, and then turn and look over the left shoulder. And then return to a central position. Allow that right leg to straighten. And then we'll link the thumbs, rise up through the torso, lift the hips away from the femur bones, the thigh bones, so we're really rising up in this lowest point of our seat. Scoop the tummy, and then exhale, extend those fingers forward. Avoid slumping. If there's going to be this feeling, especially brought on by the ego, that you really want to reach the toes, and sometimes that will make you round forwards. So avoid that though, because you'll get a lot more reach by picking up at the lowest part, the hips, and lifting, rising, and then extending forward. So it's almost like you've got a really nice straight spine as you go forward. And then you're connecting the trunk of the body, the front of the body, with the thighs. Be aware also if in your haste to grab those toes, if you've pulled your shoulders right up, they need to be relaxed away from the ears. And then let go of the back of the neck and allow yourself to come into the fullness of the position, Paschimottanasana. Forward bend, seated forward bend. If you like to, you could get your cushion, rest it on your shins and rest the head, rest the forehead. Release the hands beside. Whilst in the position, you might even like to shuffle the flesh of the buttocks up into the base of the spine, the lower back. That again gives you another shift forwards. And then watch the breath. Tune in. Relax and release. Clear the mind of any chatter. Enhance the senses of the body by allowing them to become passive. And then gently draw the chin towards the chest, pull the stomach in, walk the hands back to a line beside the hips, rise up through the torso, Dandasana, staff posture, and then bringing yourself back to where we started. Sukhanasana, happy posture. Take a moment to become aware of the new dynamic energy now flowing through you. The space that you have created within your flesh, within your muscles, within your bones, within every cell of your body. And how your breath, drawing in the oxygen, is now circulating and feeding every cell of your body, making you feel better. Bring the hands together at the chest, at the heart, the place of all truth. Give thanks for your practice. Give thanks for the abundance that is there for your taking. And stay safe in the knowledge that yoga is good for you.